Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Adoptions from the Heart TV. I'm your host, Amanda Aliberti. Today, we're going to be sitting down with Meghan and Ben, along with their 4 wonderful children. We're going to learn a little bit about their story and how they were able to incorporate the 3 children they were parenting into the adoption plan that they were making. So let's welcome the family. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi. When did you guys initially discuss the option of building your family through adoption? You obviously were parenting 3 kids at the time.
Yeah.
It's a little bit about what sparked you to come to Adoptions from the Heart.
Absolutely. I think adoption was always something that we had considered. Me, maybe a little more than Ben when we were younger. I have a lot of experience in working in situations where you see that kids, just based on zip code, didn't necessarily have the things that they might need. So I think I was always drawn towards that as an option. And then when we met each other, like having our own biological family, if we were afforded that opportunity, was also something that was really important. So we decided, let's have our own biological children. And then when we are done, let's bring adoption up again and see if that still made sense for our family. And I was blessed with 3 biological children, and after Yardley, which was a really hard pregnancy, and my doctor said you can't have any more kids, so we wanted to give it enough time and not interrupt, I think, their growth and trajectory and their ages. And we really started talking about the process probably when he was about 2 years old, maybe, and that's kind of when it really became more of a reality.
Ben, sometimes people wonder, the differences between biological children versus adopted children. For you, was there ever a fear of this is going to look different, this 4th time around? Am I going to bond with the child just like I bonded with my 3 kids that we biologically had? Was there ever a fear or a concern for you about what that may look like?
That's a fair question because there's a lot of unknowns that go into adoption. Not that we can control our biological children, but we know Meghan, we know Ben, and whatever is in God's plan is what's going to happen. And not knowing some of those variables, is that a little bit scary? Yes. The part of being the parent to the child, was there any concern with that? I can 100% tell you no, because she's our little bubble love, and she's our number 4. And honestly, the most difficult thing sometimes is when people would see Meghan and they're like, I didn't know you were pregnant, and it's like, well, she was adopted, but I can tell you, no, it's no different. And it's we've been so transparent with our own children from word one, that when we found out about the placement, I sat the 3 kids down, and we'll maybe get into that story, but I said, this is a game changer for our family. We're either all in or we're all out, and went through each one, and they just said, Dad, please go get our sister and get us a snack.
We talked about adoption really openly with our children years before. So whether it was through books, whether it was through individuals that we knew that we were adopted and talking about the way different families come together, whether it be through television, I think like Daniel Tiger had a character or something there, or maybe through some of it was through Daniel Tiger, right? That those stories were prominent. So making it part of their reality that children can come in all different ways, and we will love them. And, especially also not just that we were gaining from this, but think of the mommy, right? That gave birth to that child, and how amazing it is for that mommy and that daddy to understand and kind of give the gift of love of their child to another family. So I feel, and you can ask the kids too, but I feel as much as they could understand, maybe a little more definitely with Wilson because of her age, we were pretty transparent about that with them.
Well, I'd like to direct that question or topic to the kids. Do you guys want to share a little bit about what you viewed adoption to be before your sister came to be a part of your family? What did you think the word adoption meant?
Go ahead, Ellie.
I'll go next after.
Okay.
I thought it meant when Adoption means like when you would when you or somebody wants to get a little kid, and we got Esty, and that's what adoption's about.
Okay. What about you, Wills? What did you think before?
I thought adoption before I knew children. I thought a dog.
Oh, okay. So you thought of animals.
Yeah, but then like I have heard that word before, and then you guys told me it, and that's when I actually.
And what did you think about it? Like, what were your first feelings? Be honest.
I did not want a sibling or something.
Why?
I didn't want any more children.
Talk.
I didn't want any more children.
Because what were you worried about?
Not them not loving me as much.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And what did Daddy tell you if we adopt?
He'll love us the same, and he'll love us all even more because there's more people, and he'll love us all.
I think that's a very real feeling to have, and I appreciate you sharing that, Willa, because I think that oftentimes is a fear that kiddos may experience. What is this going to look like adding another kid to the mix, right? Is mom and dad not going to love me as much? Is some of the attention going to be taken away from me? For you guys as parents, how did you address that? Like, what advice would you give other families who are parenting already and looking to adopt? Like, what did you really incorporate? I know you talked about like literature and things like that with kids, but what is your advice for some of those tough conversations that have to be had before being placed with a child?
The transparency along the process. It's not just one conversation. Like it is a process, and there's no destination, so to speak. Like it's ever evolving, and I guess I would encourage. It's okay to have the tough conversation. It's okay sometimes, as they process, to let them be upset at times, but let them know that you love them. And I think that's the underlying key is, guys, good, bad, and different. We're going to love you. We're going to love you more, and I think just that communication is so key and so vital. Don't try and hide it from them, and let them know that the gains that they have and the opportunities that they have to grow and show their love.
And I also think there's certain moments that you can acknowledge that is a real fear. So especially if there's younger siblings, we would say, well, Wilson, remember when Ellison came home from the hospital and mommy did have to spend a little more time with the baby, but then daddy did some one-on-one or some special things with you, or even moments within parenting when, there's different needs where one kid might need you more for a certain period. So I think it's also sharing that, because I want to acknowledge that their feelings and not just say, but we're going to love you more. Because that's sometimes hard, I think, for kids to understand, particularly young kids.
And Megan, to your point, it's making time. So like, it's, what do you do with the time that you have? And making time, each individual one for honestly, for all four of them. For us, it's all four, and sometimes that may be a little tiring for me or Megan, but that's okay, because that's the attention that these guys deserve.
I have a question for the kiddos. How do you feel like you were a part of the adoption planning? Like, were there things that mom and dad did to join in when you were preparing for Esty to come home?
What did our elf bring?
Oh, I'll tell you. So what happened was the year before, our elf brought a little baby elf, and she said, I adopted a little sister, and they said, I knew you guys were trying to. Like, she literally wrote a note before, and she said, I adopted a little sister. That's what our elf did.
And Ellie, don't answer this, Wilson or Willa. Ellie, what was the baby elf sister's name? Mia. So our elf on the shelf brought a baby sister that he also adopted, and we were like, what? This is crazy.
So that kind of was a prelude to what was about to happen a year later.
And we didn't know if it was going to be a boy or a girl, right?
But Mia was a girl, and it's a girl now, so I knew it was going to be a girl because Mia's a girl.
Now, had you guys talked at all about like open adoption, birth parents? Is that something that you guys discuss in your household?
Sometimes.
Go ahead, Wilson.
Sometimes mommy says like the birth mom likes she sees pictures and sometimes, but I don't know a lot. I don't think a lot, but mommy sometimes talks about it and sometimes daddy too.
Okay, they talk about birth mom too, and the favorite animal is Stitch.
Yeah, so the birth mom shared with us when we went to get Esty that her favorite character is Stitch. So go ahead.
And we got her we were gonna get her a little Stitch. We got her Esty a little Stitch stuffed animal to remind her of her birth mom.
Yeah. And we also, and I'll share, Ellison, interestingly enough, and I don't know if she remembers this, but when we got Esty, Ellison had a lot of questions about the birth mommy.
She did.
She wanted to know that she was okay. She wanted to know how she was doing. And I think Ellison has also asked questions in terms of, well, what are you? You're not her birth mommy. Are you her stepmommy? To me, in terms of what language to use. And even when her birth mommy, because we haven't had her first visit yet, but we will soon, will her birth mommy want her back? So those are interesting, those are challenging questions. You want to think about kind of explaining the adoption triangle to young children and understanding the important role of the birth mother.
You've got some amazing kiddos over there, but I'm sure it's a lot for you to juggle. And I just appreciate that you're trying to honor and respect the triad and really try to have them understand how their sister came to be a part of your family. Is there any meaning behind her name? Is there any reasoning why you named her that?
I was just going to say with the name, it was interesting because namesake, and Ellery was special to birth mom. So we figured, and all of our kids have unique names, and there's connections and there's with them for all. And Scott, Meghan liked it for a girl, and it's also a strong connection in my family. My brother's name is Scott, and there's reason there. So we were going to originally go with Scott Ellery, and these guys were adamant no. And hold on, and Ellison was like, I'm not, my stinking sister's name is going to be Ellery. And they were adamant. So I was like, Meghan, we're going to lose this battle. So we said, let's make a family decision. Yep. And the three kids.
We voted independently.
They voted. Yep. And the kids all wanted Ellery Scott. So we have for Esty, whenever, because we have nicknames for all of our kids. And
what do we call her? Esty what?
Esty Bestie.
Esty Bestie.
She's our bestie.
Yeah. But she will have connection to her birth mom. She will have connection to family connection that, that's going to be part of her story. And her siblings, her brothers and sisters were advocates for what her name is. So hopefully she likes it.
That's wonderful. I would imagine the birth mom was really honored and happy to hear that you guys kept her name.
She's been fantastic, the birth mom.
Have you guys met?
Yes.
We spent when we went to go get her, about 2 hours with her and her support person in the hospital and chatted about all different things. And then we've kept in touch through 23 snaps, and she is always commenting immediately when I post new pictures. So we're looking to plan a visit soon, hopefully by the end of this year, and then a second visit around her birthday in May. So
that's wonderful. And I see the excitement on your face, Meghan. It's nice to see how much you guys respect and actually enjoy open adoption.
Oh, she is a huge part of this process, and there's likely not a day that I don't go by where I think about her strength and her courage and her unconditional love.
I have to ask you guys, because I will say that oftentimes when families come into our program, if they're parenting other children, I hear this question of, is there going to be a birth parent out there that wants our family? We already have kids. Do you think that's going to be, an X on our profile? How long did you guys wait? Talk to me about if you ever thought about that coming into the program.
So we certainly had that question and that concern, and everyone said it really depends, right? Every case is unique. And that's hard sometimes, because that sometimes means you wait a long time, and that sometimes means you don't. Yeah. For us, it was about 6 months, which is very short. until we were placed. And again, I don't know if it was our story. We did do a video that was very real. I mean, our kids are very real, as you see here. I think there was someone stuck a tongue out. Yes. I mean, so they knew what they were getting into. And when we asked the birth mother about that, she said, and I get so choked up. She was like, I want my baby to go to a place where everyone will love her immediately. And I just saw in your family that everyone wanted her. And I'm like, oh man, that's really cool.
And like, we had to pull the kids and drive 2.5 hours to make the video. But from my understanding is, and recommendation wise, like, make sure your profile represents who you are. Yeah,
and be real. Be totally real. Like, this is it.
And the video was a game changer. Like, we were told we were looked at by others, but the video, we didn't have a video at that time, so that it didn't help us. So little things like that, but through it all, as Meghan said, be real in the profiles, be real in the video, who you are, and that baby, that parent, that match, they'll find you as much as you'll find them.
Well said. I wish all families would remember that, because I think people wonder, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not getting matched? Am I not what they like or what they want? But in actuality, sometimes the things you think are hindering you are actually the things that will get you matched. You just have to be patient with the process, and the right birth parent that's going to match with you will match with you, which is exactly what you're describing about your birth mom.
What do you think for families that are going through this process? Do you have advice to maybe give their kids? Right?
It's fun.
Well, okay. Why is it
because
fun? If you sit down, go.
Well, it's kind of scary first, but then it's funny.
Yardley, do you have anything? Are you happy being a big brother?
Yeah.
And do you have something to say? Your last words? What do you have to
good.
say? What advice what did you think about the process, or what advice do you have for other kids whose parents might want to adopt a baby?
Well, they should really adopt people, because babies are like so good. They're so cute. They're so nice.
They're tiny.
They're really tiny, and they're really funny sometimes.
And how about for you, Meghan and Ben? Any advice you would have for folks who are looking to adopt and have other kids?
Okay, so my two things are be as transparent as possible and start talking about it, because I think sometimes there's a tendency to hide hard things from young kids, and they can actually handle a lot. And if you figure out the words when you share that, it makes it a whole lot easier. So that's one. And then during the process, and I credit our social worker, Amanda, for this, stay on top of the paperwork. I think the one thing that I was not going to hold me back. So whenever there is a request, man, I got that in as soon as I possibly can. And I really think that helped us.
I would tell you, be honest with your partner. Meghan and I were pretty honest from the word go about, I think what was good is we both knew she's right about like the adoption, where she said that she was a little more, hey, I want to adopt. And she said, what do you think about it? I said, I'm okay with that. I want biological, but I'm okay to adopt too. And through that process, like we communicated good, bad, indifferent. Okay. And that was, like I said, constant communication, but we both knew we wanted a fourth child, and we were hopeful that was going to happen. And once we committed to adoption, and then just stick together through the ups and the downs and the ebbs and the flows. Yeah. And honestly, like Meghan said with the paperwork, if you are like me, thank your partner for being a rock star on the paperwork, because I don't know that we would be sitting here today if I was in charge of the paperwork.
Could I add one other thing? I think one other thing is also be transparent if you feel comfortable with your families, your extended families. Because sometimes, particularly when you have your own kids, why do you want to adopt? You have your own kid. Like, I think that's a whole other layer that we were fortunate to start having those conversations pretty early with our wide network, and how that made sense for our family.
And to Megan's point, being honest with everybody who may be watching this, not everybody in our extended family was 100% on board with adoption, but Megan and I were. And so when she and I are in lockstep together, we will figure out how to make the best of whatever it is we're going through. And I can tell you right now, even some of the people, it wasn't because of anything with Esty. It was, not knowing what you don't know, the unknown. And you guys are so blessed and so fortunate with 3 children of your own.
Don't mess that up. I mean, that's what.
Yeah. And the concern or reservation through the way that Megan and I continue to parent Esty like we did our first 3, like this kid is, people walk into our house extended family and they don't want to see us. They want to see the kids. They want to take Esty. Like, we go visit family, and sometimes on my side, we could be 20, 30 deep, and we'll get there on a Saturday morning and leave Sunday afternoon. And I will not have seen my daughter because grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, cousins, like friends, like it is, where's the baby? Where's the baby? Where's the baby? And this kid has been traveled more places and been to more, and everyone's like, it's unbelievable. And even friends, parents are like, hey, we're at a field hockey game. Can we snag Esty and hold her while during the game? It's like, sure. I mean, they're like that love and that network. Like, if you believe in it, people will support it.
Because they love you. They care about you, and they want to see you guys happy. I think that's very well said. Well, we appreciate you guys. You are a beautiful family. We're grateful that you have shared your story. I know that it will help other folks who are just cautious or wondering what life will be like with children that they're parenting, as well as children that they're being placed with. So we are very appreciative. It was nice to meet all of you.
Everyone say thank you.
Say good luck.
Say good luck.
Thank you,
everybody. You can do it.
Thank you, guys. Continue to enjoy that little one, and I wish your family well.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you at future episodes.